Math 2414, Differential Equations, Video 8, using Microsoft Excel to calculate the value of the derivative when sketching a direction field. I wasn't planning on making this video, which I'm making in Zoom right now, but I'm doing it so I can show you my Microsoft Excel work. I just wanted to show you how to use Excel to do the dirty work. First, I'm going to start a column with the first y value on top, which is 3, and a row with the first x value, which is -3. Then I'm going to tell in the y column to subtract a half from the previous y, so equals the previous minus 0.5. And then I can just click where I just type the formula and drag it to fill in as many as I want. When I do that, it copies the formula, which is currently making a reference to the cell above it, and I get everything that I want, and then some. We don't need these. And I can do the same thing for the x's here. I can say, here's the first x. To get the next x, I want this to equal the previous x plus 1/2, and then I can click and then hold the cursor until I get a black cross. Click and drag. What this does is copies and fills each of these cells with the same formula. Looks like I was one short, so we'll copy and paste. And of course, I can type these numbers in manually, but that's no fun. All right, plus I'm going to merge all these cells up here, hit merge and center, and just type x coordinates, so we know that's what those are. And over here, I'm going to merge these, and I'm going to rotate the text up, and I'm going to type y coordinates. Again, this isn't really necessary for doing the calculations. Let's spell coordinates correctly. And that's not how you spell it correctly. And just for kicks, let's center this guy too. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and put some borders around here so it'll be a little bit easier for me to see my numbers. By the way, if you're not worried about how to use Excel to do this, stop watching this video. Go to the next one. All right. So what is it we're going to do? Our formula said the slope is equal to y plus x times y. So I'm going to start in the upper left cell in the table and type equals the y coordinate, which is the one over here, plus the x coordinate, which is the one above, times the y coordinate, which again is over here. And I'm just using the arrow keys. So there's the -6 that I calculated before, and let me go ahead and center all of these. All right, now here's the problem. I can't copy and paste because watch what happens if I do. I get a 9 there, but if I double click on it, it's going to tell me the values that it's referring to. Rather, it should, and it's kind of hovering over it. So, well, anyway, look up here. It says I'm doing C3 plus D2 times C3. Well, C3 is this -6 here, and that's not the y coordinate. It's using the correct x coordinate D2, because when you copy a formula and move it over to the right, anything it refers to horizontally gets adjusted accordingly. And similarly, if I were to copy and paste this down and then look at the cells that this one is referring to, it's referring to B4 and C3. Well, B4 is the correct y value, but C3 is not, because when I copied this formula down, this formula was making a vertical reference to the cell above it, and now this one is making a reference to the cell above it, which is the -6, which is not the x coordinate I'm looking at. So how do you fix this? Well, you use a dirty little trick in Excel, where if you have a formula, you can put a $sign in front of a letter or a number referring to a row or column, and it will lock that row or column in place when you copy or paste. For example, when I calculated this -6, the first thing I did is I clicked on B3, which is the cell right here. When I move to the right, I want to stay in the B column. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of the B. That's not all I need to lock into place. In this one, when I referred to C2, it was the cell that's currently highlighted right here in pink, that -3. So when I move this formula down, I don't want to change from the second row. That's where my x's are located. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of that too. And the same thing with this B3. This B3 was referring to the 3, which is currently highlighted in blue, in the B column. when I move this formula to the right, I don't want the column to change for that, so I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of it. So in other words, anytime I refer to the B column, I put a dollar sign because I'm not going to change columns. That's where my Y coordinates are. And anytime I refer to row 2, I put a dollar sign because that's the row where all the X coordinates are. I don't want that to change. So let's see what happens if I put this in. Let's see, in the previous video, I did X is 1 and Y is negative 0.5. So we're going to copy and paste that formula here. And if you notice, I get the 1. Look in the formula here. The formula is still referring to the correct X coordinate on top, the 1, and the correct Y coordinate on the left, 0.5. So now that I've got the formula, changing rows and columns is necessary, but never leaving row 2 where the X coordinates are, and never leaving column C where the Y coordinates are. Then I can just click this, drag it all the way across to populate the top row, then click again, drag all the way down to fill out the rest of them, and here's my values. These represent all the different slopes that I'm going to transfer to the board, and we're going to sketch some of them, at which point I'll pause the video and draw the rest of them and then resume the video.